Broadcasting from Slough. Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
The podcast.
atomradio.co.uk.
Hello, welcome to episode 115. Ho, ho, ho. It's Christmas. Well, it nearly is anyway, and this is the last Drive Time podcast of 2020, because by the time you listen to this, the last Drive Time show of 2020 has already been done. I do hope that you are, if you're listening to this before Christmas, looking forward to Christmas, and if you're listening after Christmas, I hope that you had a good Christmas. Obviously, being a podcast, you can listen pretty much whenever you want. In the show this week, and therefore on the best bits of Drive Time, we have the stupidity of star signs. We also have unwanted gifts, round one, a strange place name. And I did debate whether or not to take this on the show, but I thought, nah, take it. It's a news item. You can get away with it. Christmas wrapping and unwanted gifts Mark II. All that and more, the best bits of Drive Time, episode 115.
atomradio.co.uk.
Astrologers, you know, the people who do the old star signs and that, which I think are a load of claptrap even, have now announced about how you should decorate your Christmas tree based on your star sign, right? Now, one thing I would say is here, they're supposed to be predicting what happens, aren't they, based on your star sign? Well, you're a bit of a bunch of idiots, really, aren't you? Because a lot of the UK has had their Christmas tree up for at least 4, maybe in some cases 6, maybe in some cases 8 weeks already. So your predictions of how people should decorate their Christmas tree based on their star sign are, should we say, a little too late.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
We are talking about Christmas movies today, your recommendations of what I watch. Mick emails back and does say, if you're going for a chick flick like Love Actually, then surely you need a chick to be there with you watching it. Otherwise, it's not really worth it, is it? But the thing is, though, Mick, I haven't got one. And even if I did, I'd have to be bubbled with her. And because I don't have one, then that's a very upfront question, isn't it? Can you imagine that? Hey, I quite like you. Do you want to be my bubble? It's a bit upfront, you know. It's not quite like, do you fancy a drink or a meal or something, is it? Hey, I quite like you. Do you want to be my bubble? There is a bit of commitment involved in that, isn't there? Straight from the off. Could be seen as a bit scary, that. Anyway, on air at atomradio.co.uk, if I'm going to watch a Christmas film tonight, my first one of 2020, all on my own, what should it be?
Mark Denholm.
atomradio.co.uk.
Quarter to 5, late kicking this off today, but we are asking you because it's inevitable, it's going to happen on Christmas Day. When you open your presents, there will be something that you absolutely detest. All right, now I'm not talking about Santa, because obviously Santa knows what to get because Santa is magic. I'm talking about the estranged relative who's bound to send you something that you'll never ever wear, that you'll never ever use. What do you do with it? Do you re-gift it, so wrap it back up, give it away to somebody whose birthday is coming up? Do you ask for the receipt and return it, or do you just quietly chuck it away and rubbish it? Nicola says, I cannot wait for this because I am usually that person who has no idea what to get and gives the bad gifts. Nicola, it's the thought that counts. Don't get stressy about it. Definitely don't. Joanne says, I would re-gift it, if I'm honest. There's no way I'd ever wear it. I would re-gift it. Asking for the receipt is just too rude. And by re-gifting it, that saves me the money of buying a present. Oh, you're ruthless. In a way, you really are. Greg says, no, I'd ask for the receipt. I would just be honest, and I wouldn't want to go through like with lying and all that. And it's the thought that counts and all that. But if you're never going to wear it, get the receipt. Don't just waste their money chucking it away in the bin. Matt says, I would get the receipt as well. Chloe says, I'm sorry, I would just chuck it in the bin, depending on what it is. If it's valuable, then I would either re-gift it or I'd ask for the receipt. But if it's just like a cheap jumper or something, in the bin it goes.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Mark Denham on Drive Time on Atom Radio with Band-Aid on the way and one of my all-time favourite songs to come after that. Karen emails and sends the answer to the brain teaser, which is correct. Karen, you're in the draw. But also says, you asked us what we would do with unwanted Christmas gifts, but you didn't say what you would do. I'll be honest, I'm a terrible hoarder, so I'd probably just keep it and keep it and keep it. And then eventually, I would just think, what am I doing with this? That would be me.
Mark Denham.
All right, we're talking about a place in Austria today. The village was first inhabited in 1070, but in 2021, it will change its name after being the butt of jokes for years. The village is called Fugging. It's going to change its name to Fugging. And I'm asking you, places that you either live that you're embarrassed of or places you visited and you're thinking, oh my word, I'm never ever moving there. Oliver says, I do have relatives in a place in Cumbria called Cockermouth. And it always makes me laugh whenever it comes to sending Christmas cards. It always makes me laugh when I have to write that down. But full kudos to Liam. Liam has actually done what it says here a lot of people do in this story. The village in Austria, Liam has got a photo of himself which he has emailed to me, pointing at the sign, stood next to the sign, pointing at the sign of the name of this village in Austria, which until the 1st of January will remain being called Fugging. So, blatantly, where on earth do you live, or where have you heard of where you're thinking, thank God I don't live there?
Mark Denham.
Thursday the 17th of December, meaning that 1 week today it will be 22 to 4 on Christmas Eve, and then in 8 days' time it'll be 22 to 4 on Christmas Day. So the day is almost upon us. More pressingly, I guess, the countdown to the weekend is almost there as well. And what I can say is, we're talking wrapping today. If you are buying gifts for Christmas, would you A, wrap it yourself? Would you B, ask a friend to wrap it? Or would you C, just buy gift bags and stick it in there and then stick a tag on there? And I'm just thinking, this is, as a single man, this is a problem for me because I cannot wrap in any way whatsoever neatly, and I couldn't do it to save my life, right? So the one present I have given away so far this year, I asked a friend to wrap it so as not to embarrass myself with my somewhat incredibly bad wrapping. And it's kind of like a single man problem because I've been single for, 3 Christmases now. So therefore, in the past, whenever I've had to get presents, apart from for my then other half wrapped the presents, and I obviously did my best with the ones that were for her. But then I've always asked, in all honesty, I've always asked someone else to do my wrapping for me. So I'm asking you to put your hand up and be honest. Do you wrap yourself, or do you get somebody to wrap it for you, or do you just gift bag it?
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Mick emails on air at atomradio.co.uk and says, hello Marky, I hope tomorrow, being your last drive time, is all about the anthems. Mick, it is. And also says, in terms of wrapping, my wife does it all, and hers goes in a gift bag. But my wife does all of the wrapping for all of our friends and family. That's what I would call, Mick, well organised.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Online radio at atomradio.co.uk, playing the music you want to hear 24 hours a day with Elvis Costello and the Attractions and Oliver's Army. At 13 to 5, we are talking about Christmas wrapping today. And Jill says, I'm not really very good at it. And in my house, I'll be honest, everything apart from my husband's goes to my husband to wrap, which may buck the trend. Certainly, Jill, and I'm not suggesting that we should be, but I'm just saying if we were married, certainly between the two of us, we wouldn't be very good at it at all, because there's no way you could give it to me and expect a good job. It's just not something I am good at.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk
It is Friday's drive time. We are all about the anthems, and it's 19 to 4. This is Mark Denholm online, on mobile and on smart speaker. We're asking you today about the naffest gifts ever. Asked you earlier in the week what you would do with them. Today we're asking what actually are they. Chrissy emails and says, the worst gift I ever got came from my then boyfriend's parents, who bought us it was a joint present, bought us a voucher for a meal at a steak restaurant. Other than the fact I am vegan, it was all good.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Got one here that says, my grandmother hand knitted me a jumper, which is a lovely thought. Other than the fact that this jumper would have probably fitted me and her in it, and I've never actually been able to wear it, but obviously I smiled and said thank you, and I did put it on briefly for Christmas Day when it almost fell off again because it was that big.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Friday's drive time. This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. It's 13 to 5. I do hope I find you very well this Friday. Heading into the weekend, the last weekend before Christmas, therefore the last shopping weekend before Christmas as well. Do wonder how busy shops will be in that. Today we are talking about naff Christmas gifts. Jody has got in touch on the email, and I love this, I really do. Jody says, I don't mind if you use my name or my friend's name because we've had a giggle about it now. Jody goes on to say, I gave my friend a gift, and then a year later she managed to re-gift me my own gift. I didn't say anything at first. I asked her eventually, and she said, oh my God, I didn't realise that was you that gave it to me. I'm so sorry. And we did have a giggle about it. That's a quality one.
atomradio.co.uk.
So there we are. That is the best bits of drive time wrapped up for episode 115 and wrapped up for 2020 as well. What a year it has been. Not the year that anybody would have been predicting when everybody gathered together on the 31st of December 2019. New year, new decade, and a year full of hope and of New Year's resolutions. Not the year that anybody would have wanted. But, well, we're nearly there now anyway. We're nearly at the end of it. Just to say, of course, in the UK, there is this relaxation of the COVID rules over the Christmas period. Despite the fact cases are still rising, you can bubble in up to 3 households. Please, 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 it's not against the law if you do it, but please, if you are going to do it, just do it carefully because nobody wants to be responsible, do they, for killing off their elderly relative by giving them COVID-19. So be careful if you are bubbling over the Christmas period. Thank you for your company on the show and on the podcast. Happy Christmas to you. Ho, ho, ho.
Atom Radio. Ooh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
Check out the show back on Monday on atomradio.co.uk, and don't forget you can subscribe on iTunes, on Spotify and on Google as well. Keep yourself well.
atomradio.co.uk.